Hey, what's going on, Eric? So, week 3, day 1. This week was really good, or last week was really good. Every day felt pretty good except, I believe, the third bench day. I think I was just fatigued. I didn't sleep good enough. But other than that, I mean, every day felt really good, especially my top sets this week. Everything felt really good. The first day, uh, did high bar squats, 3 of 10 out of 6. I used 275, and they feel a lot harder than they move. I just think the high reps for everyone, it just gasses them out, so they feel like it's a lot harder than it really is. But these move super well. And I also noticed that with all the high bar work, when I go to my competition style squat, I feel like I'm a lot more upright, and I feel like I'm using my legs a lot more than before. Before I had more of a good morning style squat using my lower back a lot more than my legs, and I feel like now I'm using them both, and it's really helping out. I'm not feeling burnt out in my lower back sometimes that I will feel after some heavy squats. So that's good. So here's my third set on squat with 275. Felt pretty good. This week I took a pretty good jump from this, and they move pretty well too. Um, but yeah, there's not much to say about these. And then moving on to bench, had a 5x6 with 215. These felt really good, and then my elbow positioning was really good as well. I feel like after that second week check-in, I made a lot better improvements on my bench with the positioning. And then on to day 2 with the 2-second pauses. I feel like this week I finally paused it with the right length. I didn't rush the pauses. And this weight felt really good too. It felt really smooth. The first 2 days of benching felt really good. Just my third day, from lack of sleep, I didn't feel too great. Motivation was pretty low, but they still went. But other than that, this day on bench felt pretty good, and the pauses I'm a lot happier with. Then after that, moved on to my stiff legs, and yeah, I tried to sit back a little bit just so that my lower back could be a lot more flatter. Because I know you're saying it's still a little bit too round. So I was trying a little bit more to flatten my back a lot more. Yeah, that last rep was a little bit more rounded than it should have been. I believe this is my last set. I think I threw on some straps to really just focus on getting in a better position. This week, I feel like I got in a little bit better position. Still kind of struggling to get down a little bit lower, stretch out my hamstrings a little bit just so I can get in a better position with my lower back. And then moving on to day 3, where I had comp bench again. This was the day that I was feeling a bit off, but overall they still moved very well. My elbows were still in a good position. I wasn't just letting them sink in like I was before. The pause maybe a little bit too fast, but overall they felt pretty good. Threw on a belt too, just to make sure I was staying tight, because I was having a problem that day staying tight with my upper back. I was just tired overall. And then moving on to day 4, it was really good. Here my top set being 385, which I think maybe 7.5-ish, maybe an 8, so it might have been a little bit over. But the more I look back at it, and just knowing my squat to where I can really move reps really slow and still, bang out a couple more reps. So the more I would look at it, it looked more and more like a 7. And then with the pause squats, these felt really good too. I bumped it up to 320. I used a little micro plate to get it up to 320, and these felt really good. Now I was really happy with the pause. Past couple weeks, the pause has been really fast, barely pausing really, but these ones felt really good. I think after that top set, my confidence was really high again with my squat. It felt like something finally clicked in my head, and I remembered that I can almost squat 500 pounds. So that kind of boosted my confidence, and squats clicked this day. So I'm really happy with this week. Later on too with a bench PR. But yeah, this day was pretty good. I think even with the deadlifts, because the previous week I told you my lower back felt really fried after my top set on squat and the volume work. So when I went to deadlift, my lower back felt a little taxed. But this week, it seemed like it was going to start to bother me. But then once I got done with my first set, I didn't feel anything. So that was a big plus, and it felt really good to be able to just hit it and not be worrying about my back just being fired up from all the squatting. I did notice my lower back though was a bit rounded in a lot of these reps. Not too much, but still was a lot more rounded than usual. It could have been just that mentally I wasn't feeling my lower back being taxed, but maybe physically it was a little bit. I'm not sure, but it felt decent, so that rep was pretty fast. I didn't really pause it. And then I just threw on some straps for my last set, trying to focus on the pause a little bit more. But after those squats, I felt pretty confident. I was just overall really happy that they finally clicked. It seemed like, my body finally caught up to the new style, or the frequency that I've been hitting squats now. So this set looks a little bit better with my lower back. And position's a lot better than the first set. try to sit back a little bit too, but wasn't too much though. And then moving on to the last day, here's little bench PR. The pauses were a little iffy, but it just felt really good. 275 for my top set at 7.5, and it felt really good. Even on my last rep, it never looked like it was really challenging, so it wasn't looking like a grinder much, and didn't feel like it either. It felt really good when I unracked it and I was pressing it up. It just felt really good. So I did this day after a rest day, kind of clear my mind, try to do other things to kind of make me forget about training, so that I can come in this night and be really refreshed and ready to go and hit it. I was only planning to hit somewhere around 2